Hey there, how's it going? What is up, everybody? Irish Orangutan is back to pass along what you need to know to get better at Madden and grow your MUT team. Enjoy the show. Are back to give a little bit of a recap. I'm going to start doing this on Saturdays. Used to just talk about legends during this time, but I'm also going to be talking about some of those other players that I may not have discussed throughout the week and potentially talk about some updates on the promos that have happened that might not call for an entire video. So, getting into things straight off, we are going to be talking about legends and the MUT 10 player. We have Randy Moss over here to the side. He did come out at a 92 overall, and we are able to play through his solo and get him up quite a bit as well. I do have his power up player. Probably should have done that first, but we'll look at the legends. We'll look at him and then we'll go into the binder and get a good look at him. As you can see, some of these prices have decreased slightly as some of these players have now come out in packs. Randy was 3 million yesterday. He's down to 2.2 million. I think this might be one of the low points for him as so many people are pulling packs at this time. Really, I was going to say he's not that much of a standout, but he does have that speed, jumping, and height that really does separate him from some of those other wide receivers. He is just a slight notch above a lot of the players that we do have out now. As I did discuss in a previous video, this Torrey Holt is going to be looking very similar to what a Randy could do speed-wise and things like that. After you power up Randy, Torrey and him will both be maxed out at the same speed of 92, I believe, and then you can add Sprinter to them as well and get them up to 94, and I've seen a couple cards out there with that. But as you can see down the board, him and Torrey are very similar. Do want to look at the run blocking. Torrey is considerably faster. That'll be the one knock on Randy Moss, but he is something that you can add into your scheme if you run the ball a lot. You're going to have him on the field. Don't run at him a lot and then allow him to just blow past cornerbacks because he does outmatch pretty much everyone. It'll be very difficult to keep him kind of corralled. You'll have to run a little bit of a press and man over top, which is something that you can do, but that takes a lot away from your defense. Want to go look at that power up and see what exactly you can do with him without buying that 3 or 2 million coin card. I'm sure that'll be way over 3 million after he's out of packs completely. At this point, he is that limited player that you can be pulling out and the only one at this time. I was hoping Michael Vick would have a little bit of a lower card along with Willis and Jackson, but they are still way over a million. But after they've been out in packs for a while, I think they will be much better gets. I will be upgrading him, just don't have the training put together, but do have a few players that I could use for training at this point. But he does have that 90 speed, 89 acceleration, 87 catching, 91 jumping, so really not that far off of his previous card. That 80 juke move is pretty nice as well. 90 deep route running is absolutely huge. 88 spectacular catch, so he is going to be a tremendous deep threat, but with only getting up to 90 speed and probably not getting his upper echelon card for a month and a half, this probably is a card that I'm going to pass on, especially since I have so many theme team wide receivers for Washington at this point. So just something that I'm going to be probably passing on and potentially selling this power up. But if the 90 overall is beating me in weekend league this weekend, I might reconsider that. That is why I haven't sold it off quite yet. Switching back, I technically switched into the wrong screen, but did want to note this as well. Flashbacks will be going away. We did see veteran packs increase with the series turnover. We'll be seeing that with flashbacks, and I assume heavyweights coming up this week as the lower end players get taken out of those packs, and the new players that are higher overalls are only available. But hopefully that will bring higher overalls to these packs as well. As I was getting to the two next players that we will be going over, just wanted to note that a lot of these players did decrease in price. The 90 overalls, as these limiteds now are in packs and have this pink around them with the series redux, it will be something that will be very nice for us to have those players that were not available to us for a reasonable price coming out for us now. Legend that I wanted to talk about today is Kevin Greene. Does come out with tremendous speed, acceleration, and strength. He will be tremendous against the pass. As you can see, both his power and finesse move are very high, and he can be a finesse specialist. The one knock on him that I am very disappointed in, I was almost 100% in on getting this card, potentially even today, which would have been a bad move, but I did see his block shed was only at 80, so I really think that he is a knock below Von Miller with so many people playing competitively well with just running the ball and not passing at all. It kind of takes Kevin Greene out of the upper echelon outside linebackers because of his block shedding being that low. If you just need someone to set the edge because of his speed, and he does have solid strength as well to potentially outmatch those tight ends and those impact blocks, I would consider him, but that block shed is going to make it a pass for me. And up, Shannon Sharpe does have solid speed, solid catching, a lot better catching traffic than that George Kittle, which is something that I think is going to separate him as a pass catcher. But in a run-focused game, George Kittle is a much better run blocker. But looking at tight end 2, I would much rather have him than Delaney Walker, even though Delaney has a 6 run blocking advantage. Do want to look at his potential for lead blocking and being a potential very viable fullback as well for a lot of schemes. But I have not had that. 65 is not bad, to be honest. It's not going to be anything you want to run with I-form consistently, but with just different things that he is going to be able to. Also, he is a tremendous pass blocker, so if you're going to be sending out 3 routes with your wide receivers, or potentially 2 wide receivers and a running back, he's going to be a great option for that as well. And his speed is almost completely unmatched at this point. And the wide receivers that do have that speed, or excuse me, tight ends that have that speed, simply do not have those catching stats. Thing I did want to note about Legends today was this ability to trade in players and get an 86 plus player. This could be the full Legend, but these 81 to 83 overall players will have a lot better value because of this set, and also the higher overall players are decreasing in price because of this, and your ability to actually get those higher overalls, and those people that are kind of losing out while doing this set and getting 87s to 89s for those higher overall sets. Those are then able to be put into those sets and decreasing those players as well. So it's kind of a circle effect that is keeping everything more or less stabilized and bringing some of those higher overall cards down, which is very nice. Were a few players that I did want to point out. This Julio Jones was a very solid player, and I would potentially get him. But again, with everyone having that Torrey Holt and Julio not having exceptional run blocking for his athleticism, and I already have a Monte Nicholson. So Monte Nicholson has 86 speed and is a 77 overall, so he's a tremendous value. This Morset or Sturt, excuse me, as 87 speed at a 78 overall. So just looking at overall compared to stats, both those players are decent options for budget or potential special team situations, or is it just special situations running 2 running back sets and you just need 1 more speed back. So just keep that in mind. Someone else that I think is a very good option is the flashback Justin Verrett, excuse me, dropping the S. I was looking at the next player that I did want to mention, but Justin Verrett is a tremendous option. He is another player that his stats are above his overall, so I would definitely look at him. Darius Slay, another one of those masters for the team of the week, is a tremendous player to use. Also, when we get to that level 60, you could potentially power up past the Slay or Julio Jones if you do not want to potentially complete the set. So just some things to keep in mind and some really good players to look at. That Verrett, I did want to mention specifically because I actually have him on my team and he has been playing very, very well for me. I wanted to run through was this ability to use the ultimate kickoff tokens that we have accumulated. I did not do house rules as I was planning on playing some more head-to-head this weekend, especially with them not counting towards head-to-head wins and the series changeover. Did want to increase my MUT level while I was playing those head-to-head games. So I did not play that, so I do not have an abundance of these, but did get my MUT rewards, so that was very helpful. So just some recommendations on these and some notes. I would go with either your favorite team or the lowest value you see for a team that could potentially win. Okay, yes, I thought these sets had gone away, but I remembered, excuse me, I did not remember that they just had came in 5 different sets. But looking at these players and how many tokens you can use, I don't know how many I exactly have. I have 22 at least, so I could do this set, and I don't think I'll probably have 30. I do have 30. So my best option, unless I have 38, I apologize, I did not become a little. Nope, yep, I'm going to be short of 38. So I can toss these into the postseason hopefuls. So the thing that I'm going to do is look at this list, potentially look at odds. PFF does a really good job of breaking things down. I really love watching their videos. So it's going to give me a little bit of insight into this, but just pick the team that you think is going to get to 10 wins, because that'll get you to the maximum 93 overall player. That player you can either use for training or trade in and will have a solid value. So just something to keep in mind, and definitely look at this and do your best. Actually, we can do this right now. At least get the pack in the set, or in our binder, so we do not forget to do that. And also wanted to make sure that was a fantasy pack and it didn't just give you, yes, okay, it is a fantasy pack that will be able to go into my binder. That I think, now that I say that, this might be something that you just want to do. Excuse me, I'm going to change my strategy a little bit. As I have selected this, you might want to just keep this in your ability to open, but don't open it quite yet until one of these players get to 10 wins. Just keep this set of 6 players in your binder. Gutfox had a great mention. If you do spend money, you can buy the $5 pack and keep that in your binder. I did not think that this would work for this particular instance. So just taking knowledge from people who definitely understand the game, and then just forming it in your own way is the best way to do things, and that's kind of what we did on the fly here. But again, if you want to choose your favorite team, you definitely can do that. It'll be a solid player, 83, that should increase. Hopefully your team can win a few games. Washington's not looking the greatest, but hopefully Keenum can just keep getting fortunate and not throw any interceptions and keep driving down the field and hopefully get finally enough points on the board. But yeah, I'll just be waiting until one of these teams potentially get to 10 wins or find one of them exceptionally viable, and then I'll just place them on my team. But something I did want to note, as of 9/19, all of these did increase in price. So if you're planning on getting them previously for the price that you did think, and you're just accumulating a couple more, sadly you will not be able to do that. And these will be going away as the Masters will not, excuse me, but these will be going away as of 9/26. So 5 days pretty much, 4 days and 22 hours when I'm making this video. These 4 Masters, I was not in the range for, obviously, as I just had over 30, but they are tremendous options if you did go out and pick your card, or excuse me, open up packs with money because you're going to have a considerably large amount of these, but you could just go back, not take those now. These will lose value as there will be more 93s later on in the year, but just open up two of these playoffs because they are just repeatable twice. So that'll bring you down 76, so you won't have quite enough for this. You'll be 10 short if you just had 120, but still not a bad option. And if you had 130, that'd be the perfect thing to do. Pick a Super Bowl favorite and two playoff contenders, and you'll definitely be in. Or you could gamble and pick four. Well, yeah, pick four of these if you just had 120 as well. So just some different options, just some quick math there that I try to do for you with this gauntlet that I will be showing you next. And lastly, in this video, you can exchange it at any time, and it will just cost you 175 to 79 overall player. So you can just go get one off the auction house, and it will help you out tremendously. So we have that fantasy pack sitting there for the postseason hopefuls. Hopefully some of them keep doing well and we can sell that off for a good price at some point. But with these gauntlet players, we will be looking at each of them and I'll show you my selection. We did talk about which ones I kind of wanted you to choose and think about previously, but now that we see the stats, you can better understand why I did say those things. Ed Oliver is going to have very, very good speed for a defensive tackle, but everything else is very low. Later in this year, this could be the option for me as I go away from some other options. But Juju Smith-Schuster, with a lot of other wide receivers out there, I would go away from him. Quarterbacks, halfbacks, and wide receivers, we get an abundance of very, very good players, and all of the time we just get the one up of what we had previously. So having a NAT player that you can't increase is probably not the best option for you. As I say that with a whole bunch of powered up players in my binder. But Leonard Fournette is another very good option. He has that 88 speed, 90 trucking. Hopefully will get better over time. Obviously he will with the two bumps to his stats, but really needs an increase to his elusiveness or break tackle to make him an elite back, but still another good option, especially on the goal line. If I didn't have Bo Jackson, and I'm waiting to power him up even more, Leonard Fournette would be an even better option for me. Derwin James, I think, is a tremendous asset for your defense, and if there wasn't a Devin White, would probably be my selection. But also with Ken Houston already being on my team, and I feel as if he's better than Derwin James. James's only tremendous mark is his man coverage compared to other players at his position. His speed is pretty much in line with other players, potentially a little bit lower than Amos. And also we have a Pat Tillman that is already out and on all of our teams. People haven't grinded necessarily as much. Obviously, don't have my Pat Tillman to a mark that is as good as Derwin James, especially in man coverage, but getting very close. Only have 3 spots left to go. Passing yards, touchdowns, and fumbles recovered. So that's the reason that I'm not picking James, is I have 3 viable options that are very good compared to him at that position. Devin White, I think, could be the best player at his position. Patrick Willis has a very good mark for that with his top card, but just Devin White's speed already being at 88, it is going to be absolutely crazy and be a tremendous option for players playing 3-4 to put alongside Shaz and have 2 very fast linebackers that will improve with your teams throughout the year. Something that I'm going to be doing. Devin White does not have the best coverage skills, so he's going to be the player that I'm going to be keeping on. Willis, I'm going to be able to probably play in my 3-4 as an outside linebacker and just have Lawrence or Vaughn rush, depending on who's better at that point. So I'm very excited about what I can do and what I'm looking for long term with my linebacking core being this solid. Devin White's blitzing stats are also very, very good for his position. That's something that he does excel at, but sadly his coverage stats are not quite as good. That's what we have for today. Just gave you a little recap and some of those other great players that have came out. The rest of these are probably going to be a little bit shorter, but there was a considerable amount that did come out with the series changeover that I did want to touch on, along with some weekly promo updates. I wish you all the best and take care. Thank you for checking into the Irish Orangutan channel. Keep coming back for more Madden knowledge. There will be consistent videos up every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to see them all. Come by Twitch to engage and hit me up on Twitter at Irish Orangutan. Take care and much love, everybody.